thought we would. This book also asks listeners to imagine themselves in the place of a caryatid, bearing the weight of a Greek temple's architrave and pediment, and to play the role of a critical component of a modern bridge spanning a river. I'm an engineer, and I see forces everywhere and feel them in everything I touch. Maybe this results from my favorite courses in college, those that taught me how to recognize the forces that act between parts of a structure or machine, making it remain intact or causing it to move. Learning how to isolate forces conceptually, analyze them rationally, and feel them viscerally opened up to me a new way of thinking about how different parts of experience fit together. Physical force began to look like a linchpin to understanding much around me. In graduate school, I began to understand more deeply how force manifests itself in both construction and destruction. The same forces that engineers tame to build can also be harnessed to destroy. As I began to see forces at work in and around my own body, I saw the interactions of people in society as a manifestation of some kinds of forces between and among them. These forces were less physical than psychological, but their effects could be just as effective in the movements they engendered. For me, the concept of force provided a metaphor for understanding both interpersonal and societal behavior. Whereas applying a tangible force to an inanimate object could enable a person to move it or stop it, the intangible forces of charisma, persuasion, and influence could enable a demigod to initiate and sustain positive social, political, and cultural movements among peoples, or a devil to reverse them. This book provides a guide to understanding how the physical world works in the context of normal, everyday activities, as well as in unusual circumstances when unfamiliar forces may produce counterintuitive results. Prologue. Things we feel. For as far back as anyone knows, humans have interacted with each other and the world by means of the five senses: hearing, seeing, smelling, tasting, and touching. Surviving in a primitive world must have meant having all five on heightened alert at all times. Our prehistoric ancestors had to hear a predator moving through the underbrush toward them, see an attacker before it reached them, smell the air for an approaching grass fire, taste the danger in rotten food, and feel the presence of a poisonous insect crawling down their back. Losing any one of the defensive senses would put one at an elevated risk for destruction. Socialization brought different threats, sometimes in the form of human-on-human violence, prompted by the instincts of selfishness, dominance, and survival itself. Antisocial acts such as deception, cannibalism, and war might even arise. Evolving senses, serving a receptive brain, became a necessity for an individual to detect the telltale signs of a wolf in sheep's clothing. Sounds of people quietly plotting, the sight of them acting suspiciously, the smell of something in the air, the taste of something in the water, the feel of something funny going on raised a red flag. Words and phrases we now call idioms and cliches have their origins in the straightforward experience of the senses. The industrialization of civilized society may have been revolutionary, but we owe our comprehension of the world and its proper functioning to our evolutionary perception of it. As tools, devices, machines, and other made things and systems proliferated, humans had to recalibrate their senses. It became necessary for users of technology to know when its implements were about to present a danger. Hearing the knock of an improperly fueled engine, seeing the wear on a weakening machine part, smelling the scent of overheated gaskets, tasting the smoke of burning oil, and feeling the vibration of an unbalanced wheel. Understanding the significance of such signs came from experiencing the effects of the forces involved and distinguishing the good from the bad. In the development of modern medicine, the goal of enhancing our five senses played as important a role as the introduction of surgical instruments and the development of medicines. The stethoscope amplified the sounds issuing from the heart, lungs, and digestive tract. X-rays enabled a physician to see beneath the skin.